Bonjour everyone, welcome to today's class. In this chapter, we are going to study RE ending verbs in French. This is the third type of verbs which we are going to study in this chapter. Okay, so like we did for the IR ending verb, so in this lecture, we are going to study the regular RE ending verbs, how to conjugate them, what's the rule, what are the terminations which we add. Okay, so first of all, we take the verb. What's the rule? That we remove RE from the end, from the infinitive and add the endings. What are the endings? For je, we would add S at the end and we would remove RE from the verb. For tu, it's S. With il, elle, and on, we just remove the RE from the end. We do not add any other ending, okay? For nous, we would add ONS, we would remove RE from the end. For vous, we would remove RE and we would add EZ at the end. And for il, elle, plural, we would remove RE from the end and we would add ENT at the end. For instance, take the example of this verb. This is called vendre. Vendre. Vendre means to sell. It means to sell. Now let's say we want to say I sell. This would become je vends. Je vends. DS at the end, we would not pronounce it, okay? So we are removing the RE from the end and we are adding S at the end. Instead of RE, we are using S, okay? So if you want to say you sell, it would be tu vends. We would remove RE from the end, we would add S here, it would become vends, tu vends, okay? For he sells or she sells, he or she, and we want to say sells, so we would remove RE from the end and we would not add any conjugation here, any termination here. It's just vont. So the pronunciation with the je, tu, il, elle for the verb, it's always same. Je vends, tu vends, il vend, elle vend. For saying that we sell, we would say nous vendons. We would remove RE from the end and we would add ONS. Nous vendons. Nous vendons. We sell. If you want to say you sell in the formal way, then the termination would be EZ at the end. We would cut RE from the verb, from the infinitive form of the verb, and we would add EZ at the end. It would become vendez. Vendez. Okay. So if you want to say that they sell, then we would remove RE from the end, we would add ENT at the end, it would become vendent. Ils vendent, elles vendent. So that's how the termination are added and we remove the RE from the end. Maintenant, now, répétez après moi, repeat after me. Je vends, I sell. You sell is tu vends. He sells, il vend. She sells, elle vend. We sell, nous vendons. You sell, vous vendez. They sell, ils vendent, elles vendent. Now, the next verb is attendre. Attendre. The pronunciation is attendre. Attendre means to wait. To wait. Now, if you want to say I wait, we would say je attends. Now, when we write in the sentence, it is written like this, okay? The rule of elision is applied here. It would become like this, and we would not pronounce the DS at the end. What we are doing here? We are removing RE from the end. We are adding S as the termination. It would become j'attends. J'attends. I wait is j'attends. And now you want to say you wait. You wait. We would remove RE from the end. We would add S here and it would become tu attends. Tu attends. The pronunciation would remain same. Tu attends. Now, if you want to say that he waits or she waits, he waits or she waits, then we would just remove RE. With third person, we just remove the RE from the end. We would not add any termination here. And this would also pronounced as atom because the D at the end, we don't pronounce it, okay? He waits, il attend. She waits, elle attend. Now, if you want to say that we wait, then we would say nous, and here it's S and it's A together, so it is pronounced as Z together, okay? So instead of RE, we are using ONS here. It would become nous attendons. Nous attendons. We wait is nous attendons. If you want to say that you wait in the formal way, then again S and A together would be pronounced as Z, and instead of using RE at the end, we would use EZ for the conjugation. It would become attendez. Vous attendez. Okay, vous attendez. And now if you want to say they wait, they wait. So with S and A together, again, you would pronounce the Z here. So this is pronounced as zatond. Zatond. We would pronounce this as ending ENT. We would not pronounce it, okay? So, répétez après moi. Premièrement, first of all, firstly, what's the pronunciation of the verb? It's attendre. Attendre. I wait is je attends, and together we would pronounce as j'attends. You wait, tu attends. He waits, il attend. She waits, elle attend. We wait, nous attendons. You wait, vous attendez. They wait, ils attendent. Elles attendent. Okay? So let's do one more example for the similar verbs which ends by RE. So this verb is called répondre. Répondre. Répondre means to respond. To respond. Répondre. Répondre. Okay? So if you want to say that I respond, you would say je réponds. Je réponds, because ending ds we are not pronouncing here and we are conjugating verb with je, so we are removing this re from the end and we would put s here. So je réponds. And now if you want to say that you respond, then you would say tu réponds. Tu réponds. Okay, tu réponds. So now, if you want to say that he or she responds, or she responds, we would say il répond, elle répond. Ending D, we would not pronounce it. As we conjugate with il and elle, we just remove re from the end and we do not put any kind of termination here. Il répond, elle répond. And if you want to say that we respond, nous répondons, nous répondons. And if you want to say you respond, vous répondez, vous répondez. And now for the last one, if you want to say that they respond, we would say il répond and elle répond. Répond. As we would remove RD from the end, we would add ENT here, but we would not pronounce this ENT. Okay, so this is the répondre verb. Maintenant, now, répétez après moi. Repeat after me. I respond. Je réponds. You respond. Tu réponds. He responds. Il répond. She responds. Elle répond. We respond. Nous répondons. You respond. Vous répondez. And they respond is Il répond, elle répond. So this is how we conjugate the RE ending verbs. Now I'm going to give you some other examples, extra regular RE ending verbs. You can take the example of these verbs and try by conjugating the verbs with je, tu, il, elle, on, nous, vous, and il, elle, plural. So in this manner, you would be able to practice the verb by yourself. So first of all, I would let you know that what's the meaning of all these verbs and how they are conjugated. So the first example is descendre. This is pronounced as descendre. Descendre. It means to climb down. To climb down. Descendre. Répétez après moi. Descendre. Descendre. And another verb you can take the example is perdre. 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 Perdre means to lose. To lose. Another example is entendre. Entendre. It's entendre. Entendre. Okay. Entendre means to hear. To hear. After that, you can take the example défendre. Défendre. Défendre means to defend. Okay. So this is this is fond, this is dre. Défendre. Défendre means to defend. To defend. You can also write the verb rendre. R-E-N is rend, then dre. Rendre. Pardon, it's rendre. Rendre means to give back. To give back. After that, you can take the verb fondre. It's fond. Fondre. This is fond, this is dre. Fondre. Fondre means to melt. It means to melt. Apart from that, another example could be correspondre. 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 This is pardon, not con. This is correspondre. Correspondre means to match, to correspond, okay? To correspond, to match. Apart from that, we can take the verb prétendre. 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 This is pré, then tendre. Prétendre. Prétendre means to pretend. It means to pretend something. Prétendre. Okay, the last example we can take is confondre. Confondre. Confondre means to confuse. Pardon, the pronunciation here is confondre. Confondre. It means to confuse. To confuse. Maintenant, now, répétez après moi the pronunciation of each verb. The first one is descendre. The second one is perdre. Third one is entendre. Fourth one is défendre. And the fifth one is rendre. Then fondre. Then correspondre. Then prétendre. And the last one is confondre. Confondre. Okay. So now we are going to study some sentences where we will see that how to use these verbs in the sentences. Okay. Before we continue with the sentences, I request you to kindly subscribe my channel and click the bell icon. Also, please like the video, do share the video. The first sentence is tu attends le bus. Now look out here that we wanted to say that you are waiting for the bus or you wait the bus, okay? So verb was attendre. Attendre means to wait. Now what were we doing? The subject is tu. So we are removing the re from the end and we are putting s here. Tu attends le bus. You wait the bus. Tu attends le bus. The second sentence is il répond à la question. Now, the verb here is répondre. Répondre. Répondre means to respond. What we are doing? We are conjugating the verb with il, so we are just dropping this er and we are not putting any kind of conjugation here. Il répond à la question. Next sentence. Nous descendons l'escalier. L'escalier means stairs. Nous descendons. We are climbing down. So the verb here is descendre. This is descendre. We wanted to conjugate it with nous, so we dropped this re from the end and we have added ons at the end. Nous descendons l'escalier. L'escalier. Okay? Stairs. Next sentence is vous partez le match. Vous partez le match. Now it was perdre verb. It was perdre. Perdre means to lose. So we dropped this re from the end. We have added ez here because we were making sentence with vous. So vous partez le match. You are losing the match. Okay. Ils entendent du bruit. Bruit means noise. The verb used in this sentence is entendre. Entendre. Entendre means to hear. They hear the noise. Bruit means noise. This is pronounced as bruit. This is bruit. Okay. Bruit. Bruit means noise. They hear the noise. Okay. Ils entendent du bruit. Next sentence is je rends le livre à la bibliothèque. Je rendre verb, okay? It's from the rendre verb. For conjugating it with the, we drop this re from the end. We would add s here, but ds at the end is not pronounced, so the only pronunciation would be ren. Je rends. I give back le livre, the book, à la bibliothèque, to the library. Next sentence. Tu défends ton frère. Frère means brother. Okay, défends. The verb used in this sentence is défendre. Défendre, which means to defend. For conjugating it with tu, we would drop this re from the end and we would add s here. So the ending ds is not pronounced, so the only pronunciation is this one. Tu défends. You defend ton frère, your brother. Next one. Elle correspond avec un ami. Elle correspond avec un ami. So the verb here is correspondre. Correspondre. For conjugating the verb with elle, we would drop the re from the end and we would not add any kind of conjugation here because we are conjugating the verb with elle. So elle correspond, she corresponds, she matches avec un ami, with a friend. Ami means friend. The next sentence is for the confronter verb. Confronter means to confuse. Nous confondons, we are dropping the re from here and we are adding ons because conjugating the verb here with nous. Nous confondons, we confuse. Parfois means sometimes, les mots, the words. Nous confondons parfois les mots. We confuse sometimes the words. The next sentence is vous prétendez être malade. Être means be, malade means sick. Okay, the verb used here is prétendre. Prétendre. We are dropping the re from the end as we are conjugating the verb with vous, so we are adding ez here. Vous prétendez être malade. You are pretending to be sick. Il fondre. Fondre verb here would become fondre. We would not pronounce the ent here. So the verb used here is fondre. Fondre means to melt. It also means to found. Okay, to find something, to found, like they found an company, that kind of found. Not if something we lose something, we have found out that back. Not that found. When we develop something, okay, that kind of found, finding a foundation, that kind of thing. So, ils font une entreprise. Entreprise means company. Entreprise means company. Ils font, they found, une entreprise, a company. So that's how the verbs are used in the sentences. We conjugate the verbs according to the subject and we change the endings of the verbs. Okay. So also as in the ir ending verbs we did, so in also in re ending verbs, some of the verbs are irregular, which we need to memorize as such. There is no rule for conjugating them. They do not follow any kind of rules. Sometimes they're irregular, so we need to remember these verbs as it is. So the first verb is prendre. Prendre means to take. It means to take. So if you want to say I take, you would say je prends. Répétez après moi. Je prends. You take is tu prends. The pronunciation here is prends. Okay. We are not pronouncing the ds at the end. And again, there are no rules for conjugating these verbs, so we need to memorize them as such. Je prends. I take. You take is tu prends. He takes or she takes. Il prend or elle prend. Then we take, nous prenons. You take, vous prenez. They take, ils prennent or elles prennent. Répétez après moi. Prendre, je prends, tu prends, il prend, nous prenons, vous prenez, ils prennent. Then the next is mettre verb. The next verb is mettre. Mettre means to put. Okay. This verb is mettre. It means to put. If we want to say I put, then we would say je mets. This is pronounced as may, okay? M-E-T-S. Ending T-S, we do not pronounce it, and it's pronounced as may. Je mets. I put. You put is tu mets. He puts. Il met. We put. Nous mettons. You put. Vous mettez. And they put. Ils mettent. Ending ENT, we wouldn't pronounce it, okay? The next verb is lire. Lire means to read, okay? It means to read. So when we conjugate it with je, it becomes li. I read is je lis. Répétez après moi. Je lis. You read is tu lis. Tu lis. He reads. Il lit. Il lit. We read is nous lisons. Nous lisons. You read is vous lisez. Vous lisez. They read is ils lisent. Elles lisent. We would not pronounce the ending ENT, and this S is between two vowels, so this would be pronounced as Z. Ils lisent. Elles lisent. So the last verb is écrire. Écrire. Écrire means to write. This verb, it means to write. So if we want to say that I write, then we would say j'écris. J'écris. If we want to say you write, then it would be tu écris. Tu écris. He writes. Il écrit. Il écrit. We write. Nous écrivons. Nous écrivons, because here S and E are together, so this would be pronounced as Z. Nous écrivons. Again, vous écrivez. Vous écrivez. And then final, ils écrivent. Elles écrivent. So this is all about the RE ending verbs. So today we are done with ER, IR and RE ending verbs, regular, and we have also taken some examples of the verbs which are irregular in the conjugation. So that's it. This is all about the RE ending verbs. If you want to continue learning French, you can always contact on the numbers given in the description link below. Okay, so I will see you around in the next video. Till then, au revoir.